Hi, everyone, and welcome to our podcast, Special Needs on the Table, with your host, Alyssa Apostolopolous.
And me, Yomi, Karade. Today, our guest is both a father of a child with autism and a determined businessman from Adrinka Republic. And he has created a brand to educate people about autism, and also he gives back to the community. So welcome, AJ, to our show.
Hey, thank you so much, Yomi. Thank you so much, Alyssa, for having me here today. And it's such an awesome privilege to join you guys all. Thank you all for tuning in as well.
We are just thrilled to have you today. And we wanted to start off by having you tell us about yourself and your family.
So my name is Agyeman. Grew up in Ghana, West Africa. Migrated to the United States at the age of 8 years old. I grew up mostly in New York City, between Bronx, Brooklyn. I'm a city kid. And then went to school in inner city schools, and later on upstate for college. SUNY Albany alumni, I'm a SUNY diehard. Graduated from there and got married. Now I'm actually married with 3 kids. Got my MBA from the University of Maryland, and I've been working with JP Morgan for the past 11 years. So when I'm not working, when I'm not doing my business, I'm actually mostly spending time with the family. We spend a lot of times outdoors, playing soccer, taking them to the parks, hiking, and those are the stuff that I really like to do.
That's beautiful. So you say that you're from Ghana. So what was life like being brought up in Ghana?
Life was really good. Growing up in Ghana is mostly outdoors. Nowadays you look at kids, and with all the migration of Nintendo and video games here and there, in Ghana, you don't have those privileges. So most of the time you spend time outside, outdoors, playing with your friends, playing soccer outside, going to school. You go to, private schools in Ghana, and the schools are pretty strict. You have to dress a certain way. You have to make sure your hair is cut a certain way. And, grew up in a Christian home, just grew up in a Pentecostal school. I went to a private school called Pentecost Preparatory School, and then came to the States. But growing up in Ghana, you see all kinds of challenges, right? There's 2 different sections. There's the lack of the middle class, quote unquote, and it's either you are wealthy or you are extremely poor. So we're living in a neighborhood, and on the other side of the street, you are actually witnessing a very poor family. When I say poor, to the point where they have no food or water to drink. So you get to be appreciative of the little things that you have when you grow in this kind of environment. And it also teaches you a lot about, being thankful for what you do have, So, just understanding that, you are very privileged, and every day you wake up, you're just very thankful, and you carry a positive attitude overall.
I love that outlook.
Thank you.
Can you tell us about your journey being a parent of a child who has autism, and at what age was your child diagnosed?
So Jaden, that's his name, Jaden. Jaden was diagnosed, when he was just about, I think, 11, if I'm not mistaken. And, I happened to be at work. My wife took my son for an appointment, and I always thought, because some of the things that I expected kids to be able to do at a certain age, wasn't doing it. So my primary pediatrician recommended that we should look into the option of early intervention, which at that time I had no clue what it is, ABA, all that stuff. So I happened to be at work. They came home. I didn't take it serious. I didn't even know what autism was. And they came to the house, and my wife called me while I was at work and said, they said Jaden is autistic. At that time, I didn't know what it was. I said, okay. And immediately after I hang up the phone, I started Googling stuff, and that made the situation. Because then you look online, you see so much information online, some of them true, some of them not so true. And then I started looking into what it is, how it's going to change our lives, finding resources, for both my wife and myself, that would really help us through this journey. I would say most people don't even know what it is. I came from Ghana, West Africa, and I never heard of what autism is. Now in Ghana, people are starting to raise awareness, but it's really still not prevalent in the communities as much. A lot of people still don't know about it. Maybe in the inner cities, people are now starting to raise the awareness. But as far as the inclusion piece, they don't include them in anything. School curriculums are not designed for kids like this. And I know we'll talk about that later on, but it was something that I wasn't even aware of. It was something that I wasn't educated on. I have never had any friend who had one before. It hasn't, if it exists in my family, I grew up in Ghana, it was probably not diagnosed. So it was all new to us. For us, the first thing we have to do is to accept the reality of it. We have to just say, you know what? Okay, we have to accept it. And what I read online is that sometimes some families just choose not to accept it. And for us, we both had a long conversation, and we just, the first thing was denial, right? First, you don't know what it is, so you're like, no, that's not true. What the heck are you talking about? And then you just now start looking for clues, and then you get to the place where you finally just accept it, right? And the only reason I said that to myself is that, look, what do I lose if I accept it? I'll rather lose more if I don't. I'll lose out on resources, right? Getting him the early treatment and, care that he needs, right? If I don't, right? So we had a quick meeting. We regrouped. We started talking about it as a family. We have an older son. We brought him in as well. And we all sat down and talked about how our lives is going to be changing moving forward, because we didn't know what to expect. And then we decided to go for a checkup kind of thing in Morristown Hospital. And that's when they really said that he really is autistic. And, within the spectrum, because they said every child is different, they couldn't tell us where he falls on the spectrum yet. Because all over time, things may come up. But thank God so far, Jaden does not, exhibit a lot of the things that, most people probably do. The tantrum. Once in a while we get that, but banging his head on the wall and stuff like that, we haven't experienced that so far.
Wow, that's beautiful. So it's good that your family were able to come together, because a lot of families, having that bigger kind of global look at it and saying, okay, let's come together as a family and let's see how we're going to move forward with this, and making sure that we get all the resources that are available to him, because if you don't, then that's how you're going to approach it, and then he's not going to get what he needs, which is, I think, is a wonderful way to look at this whole thing with autism. So that just brings me to my next question. So how is autism viewed in Africa, especially in Ghana?
So autism in Ghana, based on my research and also based on my involvement with autism projects in Ghana, there's still, in the remote areas, back in the day, they used to have a whole big deal about it, that it was seen as something that was evil. In most families, they would cast the child away from the family. They would say it's an evil spell. Some families would take the child to different traditional places. Some families would take the child to churches to get prayer, and they thought it was some kind of evil spell. I think in some areas in Ghana right now, because they don't have the tools and the resources, and now because they still don't have programs. I do have a cousin who my nephew is actually autistic in Ghana. And I was talking to him about what kind of resources that the child have in Ghana as he's grown up as an autistic child, and how did they even know? For me, the moment I saw him, I knew he was autistic. Because Jaden, because of Jaden's experience, I can just tell. No eye contact. He was not engaging at all. Then I didn't know how to ask him. And then one day he just came out and just told me that his son was diagnosed with autism. And then I asked him in the school right now, because right now he's in kindergarten, and I asked him, what kind of programs do they have for him? And they don't have any programs. He blends in with other kids and he's struggling. And most of the time they have to call him to come home to come and pick up his child because they just don't have the programs.
Right.
So this is a big challenge. And that's why organizations like Alex Miranda and other organizations in Ghana that I've connected with really do their part to really raise the awareness But it's one thing that now Ghana is actually raised the awareness, but the inclusion piece is where it becomes a problem, because they don't have programs, whether through funding, they don't have programs that really is meant and designed to really help, these children who are actually going through these things, or individuals. So most people with mental health in Ghana are walking around the street. They don't have a lot of help. There's nowhere for you to go, and everybody just leave you astray. So it's very sad for me to talk about this, because recently I was in Ghana, and I went to a group home, and I meet kids with all kinds of disabilities and whatnot, and I ask them what kind of resources they have, and that's where they fall short. There's no resources out there, and that's why I think my organization makes a big difference, and what Yomi is doing is also making a big difference as well. And we can all do our part to go back home and really not just raise awareness, but create programs so it creates the inclusion that these people need.
Absolutely. And it sounds too like they would benefit from the education piece about what autism is and what it presents like, and how there could be programs that are created for it then.
Right. So right now I work with, I have a WhatsApp platform group that I'm on. And that organization is from GH1 TV. It's a TV station in Ghana. And right now, the whole month of April, they are doing programs that talks about autism and what it is, and what the early signs are, and how to diagnose it, and how to help people go through it, right? And what resources are available. The resources are very limited. Now they are actually educating people, right? And at least the conversation is starting, and that's a good thing. But we have to take it beyond the conversation and now start acting on what can we do to make life better, and to create a place for them where they can feel at home without people just casting them away or thinking it's demonic or anything like that. So yeah. It's changing.
We saw that some professionals have stated that about 1 in 87 children in Ghana under the age of 3 are diagnosed with autism. Do you feel like you've seen an increase in the diagnosis amount just from your experiences, or do you feel like it's not on par with that?
So there's two parts to that question. The first part of the question is, we don't have enough resource to diagnose people because there's lack of education. There's there's no program like ABA, early intervention in Ghana. There's no program like, there's no program.
Yeah.
Put in schools. Schools don't have the resources. They don't have the nurses. They don't have institutions or states or regions in Ghana don't have programs that are designed within the curriculum to determine these issues. And you have to keep in mind too, I'll tell you, in Ghana, not everybody goes to their primary doctor. The only time they go to their primary doctor is when they're sick. So you have a parent who have a child. The child is not necessarily sick as in strength-wise, but mentally they may be going through something, and they may label the kid as being slow, and they may come up with different kind of slogan for the kid and not necessarily seek the right medical attention. And because we don't have that expertise, we don't have those expertise, those programs that people can take advantage of. So the main issue is that because we don't have those programs, we are not diagnosing the kids. We don't know how to diagnose the kids. So when a child is autistic, they will look at him and say he have a mental problem, instead of knowing that the mental problem within mental health, there are so many different diagnoses that you can diagnose an individual, right? So they don't have the right tools and equipment and knowledge to really, and competency to really diagnose. Now, that's number one. So when we say 1 in 87, I think that is an understatement, because there's far more greater number than that. And it's all because of the fact that we don't have the resources to diagnose them. Now, even in Accra, where is the capital, and I know that's probably where the survey was done, and to come up with 1 in 87, that's not true. I think when you go to the remote areas, they don't even have systems in place to even talk about it. It's not even mentioned. A lot of people don't even know what autism is. Now they're actually trying to create some buzz around it. And when you start talking about it, they say, what is that? The average Ghanaian doesn't know what autism is. So now we are actually creating the conversation. We are having the conversation and promoting it within our own communities as well.
That's beautiful. I mean, because it's funny how, you know, in America, and now you have that kind of like the cultural differences of how autism is seen in one place and then to another. So, but I don't want to paint any negative picture of Ghana itself, because I've been there myself. I've been to Accra, I've been to Botalanga, I've been to Kumasi, I've been all over the place. And I know it's great and it's beautiful. You know, I spent a long time in Ghana, so I love it. But there's a cultural difference of acceptance by what you're just saying in the US and in Ghana. Can you tell me what's the differences, or any similarities at all in any way? Different approaches of maybe, you know, the US has one approach. Is there any differences of approaches that may not be so bad, you know?
I think it boils down to education, right? And also culture. We are in a culture where in Ghana, it's mostly extended families and whatnot, right? In the US, you are in a culture where it's very individualistic. You know, a lot of people, you know, you get married, your husband, you move away, right? In Ghana, you may have your family for the rest of your life. So that's a cultural aspect where people don't really assimilate quickly to new things, and information is not transferred very quickly because of lack of technology. However, even in the US, when you go to the inner cities, it is said that a lot of people don't even know what autism is. And I see in advertising the radio stations all the time. You see that your child doesn't speak. If you see doesn't, all this is new to most people. It's now that is being more popular, especially in the state of New Jersey, where we have the highest kids diagnosed with autism. Go on to say that we have this primarily because we are more aware, and we have, right? Whereas in the city, a lot of people are still getting to know what it is, or the acceptance rate is very low because they don't believe that such thing exists. And it goes back to the cultural side of it, where people are not open-minded to education. They just don't learn about this. A lot of people feel like it's, and again, it's the devil's sickness, so they don't want to accept it. They think they can solve the problem by taking it to church or by taking it to some voodoo powers to do some kind of thing, right? In Ghana, on the other hand, it's not even being talked about. They don't even know what it is.
Right.
No way for them to even diagnose. And when they do, there's no place for you to go for the right resources, help, So I say that in Ghana, they are receptive, or they don't like it like that, but because they just know what it is. There's no education. Right. When you have a child, you take them to your doctor's first visit. They give you a schedule on when you're supposed to take them back to a second visit. And the doctor can kind of give you clues. In Ghana, you don't have a situation like that. You have a child, the child is healthy. Okay, you have them. The next time you go to the hospital is when the child is sick. Done. You take the baby home, right? Here you have a baby, you have a 3-month visit, you have a 6-month visit, you have an annual visit. And those things help in determining, because your pediatrician will see certain signs and signals and alert you to those things and give you the right resources and referrals for you to take advantage of those programs. Whereas in Ghana, you will have a baby and just take him home. That's it. Nobody is going a random checkups. Nobody does that.
Wow. It sounds like you use the radio as a way to help educate people more about autism and what to look for. Are there any other ways that you're trying to teach people in Ghana about autism? Well,
one of the things I've done is that part of the main reason why I started this brand is when my son was born in 2017. I started the brand. That's when I actually started the brand, when he was diagnosed. And the purpose behind that is that I wanted to find a way to connect with people on a broader scale, through something that people love, which is fashion, right? So what better place is somebody people wear every day? And you can never have enough socks. Even as much as I miss, sometimes I'm still looking for my socks. And my wife does my laundry, I wind up missing one sock.
Of course.
Right? So I use the socks because we also wear different color clothes, right? And it's said that autism spectrum have different color variations. So my socks are made very colorful to really tell the story behind the autism. So every opportunity that I get, and Yomi will tell you, I do a lot of vending shows. I do a lot of shows in New York. I do a lot of shows in Ghana. Every opportunity that I get, I tie it into that story to educate people on what it is and how they can be impacted and how to even help people, right? So every purchase that you make on my socks, we give 10% of the proceeds to an organization to support and also to raise awareness and inclusion, create programs to help support those organizations, right? So for every purchase that you make, and it's also on my website as well, for every purchase that you make on my website and also in purchase of our proceeds to support autism. We also do a lot of programs, Zoom calls and whatnot, to really support our internet fans and also our Instagram fans, to educate them on what it is, how to really find early treatment and how early treatments really make difference in the child's life. For me, had we not found out about Jaden earlier on, you know, where he is now and where he was before, it's a big gap. And because we took advantage of the early intervention programs, we took advantage of every program offered to us, speech therapy, physical therapy for his fine motor skills, speech therapy 3-4 times a week, taking advantage of the ABA early intervention, coming home with us, teaching him how to put on his clothes, and teaching us how to parent a child with these kind of disabilities. These are the things that we are talking about that we lack in Africa. And that's why it becomes very difficult. And it's because within the educational funding programs, there is no allocation of funds designed to support these kind of programs, so we can actually go beyond just raising awareness, but actually creating programs to really tackle and also help these kids.
Wow. So there's just so much going on there. There's so much. So can you explain a little bit? And we're going to kind of like condense a couple of questions in here at once, because you've answered some of the questions that we want to ask you at the same time. Okay, so Adrinka Republic, can you tell me a little bit why you created it? In the sense of, we're talking about the symbols themselves, because I know your socks are just like banging, vibrant. They're just like, I'm still waiting for mine, by the way. They're vibrant, they're beautiful, the cufflinks, and also it's just on such a higher level. You can feel the spirit of them through the website, through your Instagram post. So just explain a little bit about the symbols for us here.
Awesome. So I grew up in a palace in Ghana. I grew up in a place in the eastern region called Karade. And growing up in the palace really exposed me to most of these symbols. These are all royal symbols. The symbols actually go back as far as 1876. And it was designed for the royal Atlantic Kingdom. It was their way of communicating, whether they had conflicts or they were going through something or they wanted to really stress or something. But the Adinkra symbol was also created as a farewell to their deceased partners, right? So during funerals, they will wear the symbols to really express how they feel, right? And then over time, they started creating other symbols for different meanings. So I worked in corporate for so many years, and I always wear suit and tie just like I look now.
Very fashionable, may I say.
And I always wanted, that really took me back to my roots. You know, something that really connected me with who I am. And for a long time, I felt lost. So I decided to take how I dress every day and put these symbols that I grew up in on these, how I dress. And my grandmother will always sit me down and educate me on the symbols and how important they are to us and how symbolic they are and the meanings behind the symbol and what they mean to us. So right now, when you go to Ghana, on the parliamentary buildings, on important buildings like schools, on the government buildings, they have these symbols present on all those buildings. It shows up everywhere. So I took the symbols and I decided to put it on something that I'm near and dear to, which is socks, because I wear socks every day. And as men, we don't have a lot of accessories. So I figured it was something that creates a conversation. It elevates the way I look. So I started with just socks. It started with just 2 socks. And I wore those 2 socks. People see them and say, wow, where can I find these socks? It was just a hobby for me. And people would just say, hey, I want those socks. And then I went on and ordered more and then started producing more. Right now, we have about 96 different collections of socks, all with different symbols. So for example, the one pocket square that I have here, I look very, regular work, but this is one of the symbols as well, right? And if you look deep, Outside of the pink is a symbol that looks like a U shape and another U shape coming on the bottom. That's the symbol of independence, emancipation, and freedom, right? And a lot of the African Americans use this symbol as a way of connecting to their roots, right? Coming back to where they first started from, emancipation, right? Other popular symbols are like the Sankofa symbol. Sankofa means to look back, Kot means to go, and to take means far, right? Sankofa. It means to look back and go back to your roots and take that which you can understand and learn from, to take it forward so you can learn from those things. So in other words, you learn from your past as you move forward, right? So a lot of African Americans last 2 years ago in 2019 launched 200 years since slavery. A lot of African Americans went back home to Ghana to pay homage, and they used the Sankofa symbol as well as the Fanhudia symbol to pay homage to these things. So I use these symbols to remind people of the culture, right? My children may not necessarily grow up wearing the traditional African attire, but I innovate fashion. I innovate our culture through fashion. So you still take the tradition and you modernize it. Everybody can wear it. Now you can actually take your culture to the boardroom. You can wear how you want to dress. You can wear jeans and still have your culture with you through your socks, right? And it starts a conversation, number one. Number two, it also inspires you through the meaning of the symbols, right? Because every one of these symbols have a meaning and inspiration behind it. One of the symbols that we have is the symbol of leadership, charisma, and also and greatness. And that's the symbol called Adinkra, right? So when you wear something with leadership, greatness, and charisma, you know damn well your day is going to be great, right? I'm in a great spirit all the time. Everything that I wear revolves around these symbols, and these symbols really remind me every day to stay inspired because of the meaning behind the symbols. So I took the symbols that I grew up on and I put them on clothes, I put them on socks, I put them on ties, on cufflinks. The one that I'm wearing today is actually one of our cufflinks that we have. You can see it here.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And this cufflink here, this symbol here means, right? It says, it's a beautiful piece that I have on here. And it's the Nyami Dia. Nyami means God. Dia means a tree or a stick, right? It says God's presence, that God is with you no matter what. That you have the presence of God and God's protection with you no matter where you go. So it really allows you to express yourself through so many different ways. The other thing is this, is designed for royals, because the symbols were originally designed for royals all the way up until 1957, when Ghana gained its independence, right? After Ghana gained its independence, they released the symbols to the general public, and the symbols became available to everyone. So my tagline is that it's designed for royals. The reason why Yomi said it's very quality is because if something is for royals, then it has to be of great quality, right? You cannot do any mediocre stuff for royals. So I do believe that we are all royals, we are all kings and queens, and then we all should enjoy these symbols as it's made and designed for all of us.
Beautiful. Wow.
Yeah.
So, wow. So also with your business that it discusses about corporate responsibility, how does your company help those with autism, and what organizations do you donate to?
We donate to Alyssa Miranda, primarily because our focus right now have been on Ghana for the most part. We recognize that with the most opportunity, and that's the area where we most. Over time, we have other organizations to actually partner with as well. So your purchases go a long way. In Ghana, we've done several programs like schools. We've partnered with Alyssa Miranda, built a school. We are creating programs, data programs. We have a luncheon coming up through a program that we are actually working on right now. And in the month of April, we do a lot of different things to really create awareness around the brand. If you go on my website, we put a lot of messages out there, really to create that inclusion, and also to create a space and even to start the conversation. And it's amazing how every time I post about autism, somebody reached out to me and say, hey, my cousin, my nephew, my niece, my child, is diagnosed. And it helps them, and then we can share our stories together, because they may be going on a path that I've probably been on already, or they may be ahead of me, right? And I may seek some advice from them. So the more we talk about it, the more we create a space where people feel vulnerable enough to share information and also to come to us for resources. So I'm glad that my company is at the center in front of this. We will continue to open and expand. And that's why we truly work tirelessly every day to promote our brand, because we do know that the long course of our brand, which is the 10% proceeds, go towards a good organization and also a good cause.
You do such a beautiful job of connecting community together, of creating this incredible brand and fashion items that really both show your culture and give back and do more and educate people. I mean, it seems like you do it all. Where can people find you? What's your website? What's your Instagram, so that people know where to get in touch with you?
Excellent. So the website is www.adinkrarepublic.com. Just that simple, just the name, Adinkra Republic. Adinkra is spelled Adinkra, Republic, just like Banana Republic, right? Or Republic, right? .com all together. My Instagram, you go and you just type in Adinkra Republic. Same thing for Facebook, Adinkra Republic. So it's the same thing. And also on Twitter, Adinkra Republic as well, right? Right now in the month of April, we are running a promotion. When you stocks, we give you one. All right. So take advantage of that. Also sign my subscription list. You get 10% off your purchase. And these are all things that we're doing really to really push it and also to spread the message out there. I'm really excited. We've been in for 2 years now. We've seen great elevation. When people hear that we have been in business, they're surprised. Because within our product line, we've added socks, we've done the bags. Now we have cufflinks, we have ties, we have bow ties, we have face masks, we have lapel pins. We have so many different things that you can pick from. And even within the socks collection, we have even more greater coming up ahead as well. And we are really excited to partner with so many different people who make this possible. I have a great team. I have great leverage team that I leverage for everything. And they've been awesome to me. So I just want to give them a shout out as well.
Wow. Okay. Well, this is brilliant. And I just love the fact that you have so much going on. You're there at JP Morgan right now in West Caldwell. I miss seeing you. And this has been just so wonderful. I love the fact that your brand is going to also move with how autism moves. And also that you can now start providing more than just awareness, you know, inclusion, programs, speech therapy, you know, it's, you know, all the things that our children need to help them fulfill themselves, get them involved in society and be productive in society as much as they can, you know. And it's great that you have, you know, that you are a parent who's actually out there doing the, just, you know, just being out there and showing not only people in America, but also Ghana too, you know. And it's a real blessing. Really, you are a blessing for everybody. And it's just been just wonderful to have you on our show. It's been wonderful.
Thank you, Yomi. And before I actually leave, I want to encourage somebody out. I know you're probably watching this, probably going through a lot. You have your up and downs. You have your doubts. It's not easy. We all understand that. But you are not alone. There's always somebody to join and also to partner with. There are so many resources out there. Be part of a group. This is what I had to do to really understand what it means. There are so many resources out there. There are counseling groups that you can be a part of. There are people that you can turn just like you, that you can connect. You are not alone. And being different is not less. These kids are, right? They are special. And, you know, I believe it, so I'll say God created them that way. And, you know, God created them with a different mind. But being different is not less. So I want to encourage you. Second thing, if you are young and planning on starting your business, you can do anything you put your mind to. I work full-time. I work this business full-time as well. I'm taking some courses in Harvard to equip myself to be a better entrepreneur entirely, right? There's nothing that you cannot do. And no matter what you're going through, no matter what you have, no matter where, it doesn't matter where you started from. It's what you do each and every day. So you can definitely leverage all the resources that you have. Don't limit yourself because of anything. You know, if I can do it, so can you, and even do better than me, right? And that's what we all want. So go out there. I believe you can fly. You can do anything you put your mind to and keep winning. And I'm here to share you on as well. You can reach me via Instagram. Let's connect. If you have any questions, I will be more than happy to share my story with you as well and help you hold hands as we go through this journey together as well. So feel free, reach out to me in any way, shape, or form, and I'm more than happy to help you.
AJ, thank you so much for being with us today. Make sure to check out this podcast at Special Needs on the Table on YouTube and on Instagram at Special Needs on the Table. And we will make sure to include all of the links for AJ's incredible company, and make sure to check out his cool fashion items like his socks, his cufflinks, and many more items that are there and are giving back to the community. Thank you again, AJ.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for tuning in. And thank you for sharing this great story. Alyssa, you were great. Thank you so much for having me as well. And I appreciate it.
You're great.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you.